Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Gauranga, the Golden Incarnation of Divine Love, by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. We are reading from section 2 of the book Navadvipa and Youth Pastimes. So let's begin. The Lord teaches only Krishna consciousness. After his return, the Lord's students also thought that something was wrong with their master. Whenever he was giving instruction, everything was somehow connected to Krishna. The students were saying, "He is not the same as he was before. He used to defeat everyone. He would smash people with debate. Now he is loving and caring. Now he is only talking about Krishna. Maybe he has gone soft." They complained to Lord Chaitanya's Sanskrit guru, Gangadas Pandit, saying something has happened to Nimai Pandit. He is not the same. He doesn't want to argue or debate anymore. He has lost his Brahminical edge. Now he is only talking about Krishna. Please go and talk to him. Find out what has happened, what has caused the change. So Gangadas came to talk to Lord Chaitanya. He asked why they were saying he had lost his Brahminical edge. Lord Chaitanya said, "No, I am the same Nimai Pandit. I can defeat anyone. Let them come and make their proposal, and I will defeat it, and then again I will establish it. Prove that they were really right and I was wrong. Then defeat them again and prove I am right." That is what a good Brahman can do, prove everything by logic. Of course, Lord Chaitanya later said that simply debate and logic is far from the way to get real truth in the Bhakti line. He was the greatest debater of his time, but later he said that logic will not give conclusive understanding of the absolute truth. We have to know it from the Shastras. So after his challenge, the Lord replied, "No, I am the same. Bring me any Brahman and I will defeat him. I just haven't defeated anyone yet. But I will go out right now and the first person I see, I will defeat him. Then again establish his point. And then defeat him again." The students were thinking, wow, he is our same Nimai Pandit, fired up. So Lord Chaitanya went out in the street and waited for the first Brahman to come along to challenge him for debate. But the first Brahman to come along was not just a Pandit, he was the brother of Srivas Thakur, Ramdas Pandit, an incarnation of Parvat Muni. He was walking along singing a beautiful bhajan about Krishna, how Krishna is so merciful to everyone, and how the demoness Putana wanted to kill him by putting poison on her breast. But she approached him with a very loving demeanor, saying, "You are very dear to me. You are my little baby, Kuchi Kuchi Ku, I love you, suck my milk." Because she showed all this loving affection, she even fooled Mother Yashoda. Krishna decided to reward her for her good act with the position of one of his mothers in the spiritual world. She attained Vatsalya Ras, the post of a mother. Krishna is so kind that a witch, a hateful, cruel, murderous, despicable witch, because she faked that she loved Krishna, she later actually became a mother. He was reciprocating with whatever affection she showed. "Okay, you are treating me like a mother. Ye yatha mam prapadyante, tams tathaiva bhajamya aham." This is from Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 4, verse 11. "According to how people approach me, I reciprocate, and you approached me like a mother, so I will make you a mother." So in the spiritual world, she became one of Krishna's mothers. But because she also approached to kill him, Krishna reciprocated and killed her. So she went back to Godhead and became a mother in the spiritual world. When Lord Chaitanya heard this song, he was thinking, Krishna was so merciful to the witch that came to kill him, come to murder him, even though she showed an artificial, false motherly love. Still he blessed her. What to speak of any devotee that comes to Krishna with even a little bit of sincerity? Who really wants to give his or her affection to Krishna? How much mercy will Krishna give to those devotees? It is unimaginable how merciful Krishna is. Thinking like this, Lord Chaitanya became ecstatic. He started rolling on the ground, crying out, Krishna, Krishna, you are so merciful. I am so fallen that my heart is so hard. Krishna is so kind. He blessed Putana, who was an evil witch. All the students were just standing there watching their master rolling on the ground. After Lord Chaitanya came back to his external senses, he took all his students to the side of the Ganges. His school was on the side of the Ganges under some trees. It was very beautiful. He loved the Ganga. Every day he would walk by Ganga. The Lord said to all his students, I am always giving you the best thing I know. Nimai Pandit's school is the best because I give you the best, and I must tell you. After I met my spiritual master Ishwar Puri, after I got initiated, I realized that Krishna is Param Brahman. Krishna is Param Satya. He is the absolute truth. He is the Samam Bonam, and all these things, all other things are superficial. Without Krishna, nothing has meaning. So how can I, with all truthfulness, all honesty to all my students, not teach you about Krishna? How would I be honest to myself if I just teach you superficial things? So now, whatever I teach you, Krishna will be there at the center, because this is my realization. I'll repeat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to his students, so now, whatever I teach you, Krishna will be there at the center, because this is my realization. If you think Krishna or this Harinam Sankirtan, the process of chanting Krishna's name, is something you don't want to do, then I free you from any promise, any obligation you have to be my students. I'm sorry, I cannot cheat you and teach you less than I know. I have to teach you the best knowledge I can give you, otherwise I will not be true as a teacher. The top students stood up first and said, My Lord, you always taught us the goal of life was to win debates, to be the best scholar, to be the best debater, the best logician. Now if you tell us Krishna is the Samam Bonam and we have to know about Krishna, we are ready for that. We don't want to go anywhere else. We want to be with you. If you tell us Harinam Sankirtan is the best process, you cannot expect us not to be little surprised, because you never told us before. But if that's what you say, then please bring some Vaishnavas and teach us so that we can learn how to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All the students stood up and cheered and said, yes, we all want to be with Nimai Pandit, but we don't know this Sankirtan process. Please bring someone to teach us. So they brought the devotees, Shrivas and others, to do the Sankirtan with Mridanga and Kartals, and they taught everybody. Sankirtan at the house of Srivas Thakur. Lord Chaitanya came to relish this love of Krishna, and he incarnated with his associates, and they were also relishing this love of Krishna. Krishna took this form in order to relish his own love. Love of Krishna is so wonderful that Krishna himself saw that his devotees are so happy in his love that he wanted to know, what is like to love me? The only way to know that it is by becoming a devotee. So he took the mood of Radharani, and that is his form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nimai Pandit wanted to know what is it like to love himself, that is Krishna. So the only way that could be found out was by taking on the mood of Radharani, and that is the form of Lord Chaitanya. Once Srivas Thakur invited Lord Chaitanya to come to his house and perform kirtan. He told the Lord, people will not understand your ecstasy, so I will only bring some confidential devotees who know what these ecstasies are and know how to appreciate them. Because Lord Chaitanya was chanting and he would faint, his hair would stand on end, and he would cry loudly, the people thought that he had some psychological problem. They did not know that actually he was in ecstasy of love of Krishna. He came to the house of Srivas, and there every night they would chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Every day Srivas would have the kirtan of Lord Chaitanya in his house, and the other people were wondering what was going on inside. But the doors were kept closed and only devotees were allowed, and the others were outside speculating. What are they doing there? What are they doing? What is going on? So inside, of course, Lord Chaitanya was dancing and chanting, and his kirtan was very ecstatic, and sometimes he would fall on the floor. Shachi Mata, when she saw this, because she was his mother, she would be worried. Has he been hurt? Is he all right? She didn't know that she disturbed his ecstasy by worrying. So Lord Chaitanya gave her the benediction that during the kirtan she was always in ecstasy and did not know what was happening. Otherwise, she would be too concerned for the Lord and she would have disturbed the kirtan. One day when Lord Chaitanya came to the house of Srivas Thakur, the devotees had kirtan as usual. After about 15 to 20 minutes, normally the kirtan would really take off, but this time it was not taking off. It was not becoming ecstatic. Lord Chaitanya said, "Today I am not feeling ecstasy. Why not? Who is responsible? Why am I not feeling ecstasy today?" The devotees, being naturally humble, were all thinking, "It must be me. I must have committed some Vaishnav aprad. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Gauranga, he doesn't feel ecstasy today." They all felt guilty. Materialistic people will usually say, "I didn't do anything. Why are you accusing me? You did it. It's your fault." They are defensive. But Lord Chaitanya's devotees were humbly thinking, "What did I do wrong? Maybe I committed some offense." Lord Gauranga said, "Maybe somebody is watching. Somebody is watching who is not supposed to be here." When Srivas Thakur looked around but he didn't see anybody, he looked into the house but didn't see anybody, so they started chanting again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then a second time Lord Chaitanya expressed, "Still I'm not feeling ecstasy. Who is responsible? Why am I not feeling any ecstasy, any bliss today?" Again the devotees were thinking, "What did I do?" This is because a devotee naturally thinks of himself as the culprit. He doesn't find fault with others and blames himself first. So each one was thinking, "Is something wrong with me?" Then again Lord Chaitanya said, "There must be someone here. After all, he is Antaryami, he is Krishna. He is in everyone's heart, so he knows who is there or not there." So finally they saw in the corner of the house, somehow the mother-in-law of Srivas was hiding under the basket and watching. She wanted to see Lord Chaitanya dance. Srivas lifted up the basket and there was his mother-in-law. In Indian culture, the mother-in-law is very much respected, just like a mother. But Srivas said, "What are you doing here? You are disturbing Lord Chaitanya's kirtan." And he grabbed her by the neck and threw her out of the garden. Lord Chaitanya asked, "Who was that?" Srivas replied, "I don't know." "Wasn't that your mother-in-law?" "I don't know." "I don't know whoever disturbs you, my lord. I don't know them." Then the Lord said, "How can you treat your mother-in-law like that? You know that you are supposed to treat your mother-in-law with respect. She is your elder and you rudely threw her out of the door." Srivas explained, "My dear Lord, my only interest is your pleasure, your satisfaction. Anyone who interferes with your ecstasy, my Lord, will not be tolerated. I am simply made for your service, so anyone who interferes with your ecstasy, I don't know them. Your happiness is my first priority." She was creating a disturbance in your devotional service. She may be anyone, I don't care. I only care about your pleasure." Then Lord Chaitanya embraced him and said, "You are such a devotee." In spiritual life, we have different priorities. In the material life, being respectful to your material relatives, that is the most important consideration. And certainly under normal conditions, Shivas was very respectful to all his relatives. But when it became a question of conflicting interests between what was pleasing to Lord Chaitanya or what was for the interest of Krishna and what was for the interest of his whole family, even he had to hear about it for however long. His priority was pleasing Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya. That was his special quality. He showed that the pure devotee is completely fixed in serving Krishna. Whatever will satisfy Krishna, that is the principal consideration. Although the person intruding in the Sankirtan was a relative, their presence was disturbing Lord Chaitanya, so he immediately removed that person. This pastime also shows that if there is one envious or disruptive element, then that can spoil the whole Sankirtan party. That's why even the spiritual master is advised that if there is a disciple who is polluting other disciples, that disciple should be rejected. If the spiritual master does not reject the disciple will fall down and can even pull down the spiritual master, what to speak of ruining so many other disciples. One rotten apple can spoil the whole basket. In this sense, rotten means especially a person who is always blaspheming or finding unnecessary fault with Vaishnavas. In devotional service, one needs to have very Krishna conscious association. Lord Chaitanya liberates the crocodile. Jagadanand Pandit in his book Prem Vivarta tells us how once Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtan party were doing Kirtan when the Lord was approached by one cowherd boy by the name of Gopal. The boy said, "You are my brother, my cousin brother," to which the Lord replied, "How am I your cousin brother?" Because Lord Chaitanya was a Brahman and the cowherd boy was a Vaishya. "Well, your mother Shachi calls my mother as younger sister. Therefore, we are brothers." "My mother is inviting you to please come and take some milk sweets," Lord Chaitanya replied. "All right then, why not?" So Lord Chaitanya took his Kirtan party to see the boy's mother. And on the way they stopped and saw a lake. In the lake there were some cows making so much noise. Lord Chaitanya said, "Why are they making this noise?" Gopal replied, "There is a crocodile in the lake and they don't know whether it is safe to drink water or not, whether the crocodile will jump on them and eat them." Lord Chaitanya told his Kirtan party to start the Kirtan, and then gradually the crocodile began to rise to the surface. It started to swim for the Kirtan. Then it climbed up the bank and ran towards Lord Chaitanya, touched his feet, and immediately transformed into a divine celestial child. It was amazing. "What happened?" Lord Chaitanya said. "Who are you?" The divine child said. "I am a resident of Indralok, and in that world I am 5 years old. Once I was playing in the forest and I saw a rishi, that is a sage, who was sleeping. I was a naughty boy and I cut off his hair, but didn't know that rishi was Durvasa Muni. When he woke up, he noticed his hair was cut and said, 'I curse that whoever has cut my hair will become a crocodile because they like to cut things.' I heard this curse and I told him, 'I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was just a playful kid and I didn't know. I don't want to be a crocodile. Please take back your curse.' Durvasa Muni replied, 'No, I can't take it back, but since you're a child, I'll give you a way out of it. You will be a crocodile until the Kali Yuga when Lord Chaitanya comes. If you touch his lotus feet, you'll be freed from the curse. I've been waiting here for yugas for you to come. Finally, you have come. I caught your lotus feet and was liberated from this curse.' He circumambulated the Lord 4 times, and meanwhile his parents came from Indralok. His whole time on earth had just been like 1 year on Indralok. His parents started to chastise him. 'You naughty boy, why are you giving us trouble? Come back home.' They took him back in the airplane, and he was able to have the darshan of Lord Chaitanya. Finally, Lord Chaitanya met this lady who was accepted as a younger sister of his mother, and she gave him rasgulla, sandesh, barfi, etc., all the varieties of milk sweets. Once Swarup Damodar had told Jagannath Pandit, "You cannot write these things, they are all very confidential leelas." Jagadananda replied, "Listen, this is my book, I can write whatever I want to. I'm writing what happened, it's all true. If you don't like it, write your own book. But I'm going to write whatever I write." Because Jagadananda Pandit was Satyabhama who incarnated to join Lord Chaitanya's Kirtan Leelas, some of these pastimes we don't read anywhere else. They are only in Prema Vivarta. Devanand Pandit becomes a devotee of the Lord. There was one Pandit named Devanand Pandit who would give class on the Bhagavatam in Koladvip on the other side of the river from Mayapur. He would give his Bhagavatam class like a Mayavadi. Everything would have an impersonal conclusion. Naturally, people in this class weren't very ecstatic, all Pandits and students. One day when he gave Bhagavatam class, Srivas Pandit came and sat in the back. Then when he heard the Bhagavatam, he became so ecstatic to hear the Krishna Leela that he started crying in ecstasy. He fainted. Devananda Pandit said, "What is the devotee doing? What is this person doing? He is creating a disturbance in my class. Throw him out." So he was taken out by the students and thrown down on the street. This was considered a great offense. So thank you for joining. We'll continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.